Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is day 7 of Terraform. In today's session, I'm going to talk about EC2 module for the VPC. So yesterday we talked about EC2 module and today we'll talk about the VPC modules. And by this end of this video, you will be understand how to build a professional Terraform folder structure used in the real companies. And so if you're coming to the playlist, so here is a playlist for Terraform 0 to Hero, and here is a my channel name. So please do not forget to like, subscribe my channel. So let's go to that what we have discussed in the last session. So here we have built the Terraform folder structures like EC2 module and VPC. Okay, so we have implemented only for the EC2 module. Today we'll build it VPC module for the multiple environment. Okay, the same thing we are going to talk about. So in day 8, we will learn VPC modules and EC2 module both. So let's jump into the session. Let me go to that AWS console. Let me start our Terraform server. Let me start my server. So let it up. In the meantime, let's go back to the environments. Okay. So in the real world project, okay, we are going to separate the reusable models and the environment specific configuration. So whatever I mentioned in the environment, so we are going to specifically we are going to do the configuration. And so modulars never change. Okay, whatever we have mentioned here, it is not going to be changed. Only the TF vars files it is going to be changed. And dev and prod use the same models. Okay, whatever there is a environment, prod and dev, so the models will be going to use same thing. In the production, companies duplication is mistakes, but reusability is a standard one. So now let's go to that AWS console again. Let me try to connect it. Let's get the password. Let's copy it. Let's log into the server. So now I'm going to just explain it inside the Terraform project, how the models going to be works. So yesterday we are already added created this environment models. Let's go and open it with Visual Studio Code. Okay, let me close all. So yesterday or the last session, I already explained it. So in the dev environment, what all the files will be there, okay, and the modules under what all the files. So if you are talking about the modules under the EC2, okay, so this is the reusable EC2 modules. So if you are coming down, so notice that there are no hard-coded value. That means we are not written directly the instance type or AMI. So we are not added here. So everything we are added into the variables. So this model is a environment aware because of the we are going to pass the environment as a variable. So if you come down below the AMI ID everything. So in the variables I have added everything. So here I mentioned the string value. Okay. So this variable file, what it will do? It will fetch from the TFVars, okay, whatever it is required, like the region, AMID, instance type, instance name, environment, everything. It will fetch from in the variables. Okay, so this two is a main under the EC2 module. And if you go to that each environment, I was talking about providers.tf files, variables.tf files. Okay, and terraform.tfvars. Okay, so dev and prod are the separate state files. Okay, yesterday we talked about remote backend, right? So there is a separate state file. We can able to save it. That means we are going to complete the isolation. That means there is no connectivity between the dev and prod because this is two is the isolation. And let's go to that under the VPC model. So here also, if you are able to see it, so these are all hard coded. Okay, I have not mentioned anywhere the values, everything. Okay, and security group also you can able to see it, cider blocks, everything. So everything it is passed in the variables. So the main thing is production must be more secure and powerful. Okay, that is the one thing we should know it. Okay, and one more thing is same models, different variables. This that is a infrastructure maturity. Okay, so main thing we should use the same models and the different variables with the different environment. Okay, so now let's go and talk about the EC2 models we have talked about. Let's do it for the VPC model, right? So let's go to that each the under the environment. So what I have done it here, if you're able to see it. So model I'm going to use it VPC. Under the model, the source I have mentioned here, and VPC side range, subnets. Okay, everything I mentioned for the here is a simple model for the VPC. And below also I mentioned EC2 model. So each environment, this two is a default one. Okay, so there is no changes on this. Now what I'm going to do, let's go to that each environment and let's try to create the environment. CD environments ls cd dev terraform init. So if you are going back to the previous session, you will get to know what all the models I have covered it. So I know it. There is a main only EC2 model I have covered it. Today I'm going to cover it VPC model because without VPC EC2 it is going to be created a default one. Yesterday I showed you, but here we don't want to use the default one. It should be create our own VPC. Under that, this EC2 must be created. So I'm going to show it in the AWS console also how this going to be created. Terraform apply. So if you are confident on the code, Terraform. So no need to use the validation command. So if you have any doubts, then go and check the Terraform validate so that it will show us the if it is any errors, all those things. Now let's go to that AWS console. I'm going to open VPC and instance. Under the VPC dashboard, we can see it. Our VPC has been created. If you're able to see it, dev VPC created. In the meantime, let's go to the EC2 instance dashboard. From there also, your EC2, it has been created. So yeah, if you're able to see it, it is already initializing. So now what I'm going to do, let's delete it. Okay, terraform destroy. Let's go to that productions and let's create the resource also. So this will take some time to destroy the resources. If you have any doubts on the while writing the code also, you can refer the official documentation of Terraform. In the meantime, let's go and check the console side also. Here also should be terminated. Yeah, so it is already trying to shut down first, then it will terminate it. And let's go back to, yeah, so your VPC has been already deleted. So this will take some time to terminate it. It will just shut down first and it will terminate it. See, it is terminated. Let's go to here, cd dot ls, cd prod ls, now terraform init. So if you have a multiple environment like a stage, QA, same thing you can able to do it. So I have just showed you sample for live for the models for the EC2 and VPC. So you can able to create the EKS cluster module and storage, ALB control, load balancer, okay, and auto scaling. So all the services, whatever in the AWS, we can create a model so that we can able to reusable. So you are not going to write always the code multiple times. Write it one time, keep it in the source repository controller like GitHub, GitLab, or any other repository like Bitbucket. So you can store all the your Terraform codes. So now we are trying to create the prod environment, right? So let's go to the T here. Okay, so it is now. Let's go back to VPC and let's see that our VPC. See, our VPC it is created. Let's filter it, prod VPC, and go to that subnet. Just refresh it. Your subnet also it is created. See, and let's go to that route tables. So route table also it is created, and So we have not added any internet gateway, so that is the reason it is not created. And let's go to the security groups. See your prod AC. Okay, it has been created. And you can just double verify it. So the EC2 machine should be running on 73B2A. This is our prod one, right? So let's go to that EC2 console and prod, go to that networking. So if you're able to see it, here also you'll get to know the name and what is the subnet it is using and availability zone, public IP, everything it is showing here only. So that is all about the today's session. And tomorrow, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to talk about the how to upgrade the Terraform versions and what is the impact. That is what I'm going to talk about. Day 9. So how to upgrade the versions, providers.tf or the command line of the versions. Tomorrow we'll talk about. So today we talk about almost VPC modules. Okay. So so that is all about today's session. We'll catch up tomorrow. Bye everyone.